Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Retro Vintage Fantastic Four. This is Reed Richards himself, Mr. Fantastic. So there are some new things to this one. He has a lab coat, which is pretty cool, but it's kind of a combination of the two previous Mr. Fantastic figures that we have gotten. While they both share the same body, so that's going to be the same, we get the head sculpt from the Walgreens exclusive, as you can see there, and then we get the stretched out fingers that came with the Super Scroll Build-A-Figure Wave Mr. Fantastic. So a little bit of a combination of both. Perfect world would have been these long arms, stretched out arms with the blue, the darker blue and the white, but unfortunately this one remains the only one, although an earlier release in the Ronin the Accuser Build-A-Figure Wave actually used these same arms, I believe, from what my understanding is. I don't have that older figure. So some new stuff. The ToyBiz inspired card is amazing. I really love it. It came out looking really nice. See the artwork of Mr. Fantastic there. Looks good. I love the blue and white, so I am very excited for this one. The lab coat is just kind of a bonus. I don't know that I'm going to display him that way. I might, just to kind of differentiate with the other ones since they're just in their regular suits, but it is an awesome thing, so I'm glad Hasbro included that. Looking at the back of the package, the gimmick, of course, is that he can swap out his hands, which is kind of weird. Is it just the hands? It's the entire arm. Well, I guess you could do the fists on the arm. So yeah, I guess, you know, swap out the hands, swap out the arms. The bio reads, as Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards utilizes his scientific brilliance and pliable form to make a difference in the world. Here we have all the figures in the wave. This is the last one for me to review, and I think I failed to mention it on every single review, but I did get my wave from Dorkside Toys, so keep that in mind. They had it in stock. I don't know if they still have it in stock at the moment, but they did have it in stock and shipped out to me. So here we go. Let's get him out of the package. Okay, so here is Reed out of the package, and it is a pretty good figure. He's pretty stiff out of the package, so just kind of be aware of that. His lab coat is cool as it is. It's not super pliable. There's no cut in the back to kind of spread it out a little bit more, so it's a little bit harder of a rubber type material, but it does look really good. I like how it doesn't look too oversized or anything. It actually proportions really well. But there's not a whole lot else going on to the figure. You know, Mr. Fantastic, it's pretty basic in terms of the suit design and everything like that. But we'll kind of swap out the parts and do all that so you can kind of see the full effect of it, which I guess we'll do right now. So these arms should just kind of pull out at the shoulder, so not very difficult to do. And then you'd pull the other arm out, and then the jacket, you know, just slips over, and it's no big deal. So looking at his suit, we get this white paint around there to kind of show like a belt type design for there. The white over the blue, it's a dark blue, so white painting over a dark color, we know always gets tricky. The blue does kind of show through a little bit in some areas, but it's honestly not terrible. It's not bad like Invisible Woman was bad, where you could see the different layers of white paint, where some you know, right in the very center got a little bit more of a layer or an additional layer, but the top portion of it didn't. We don't have that issue here, but the blue is a little bit noticeable in some of the areas, but again, it's not terrible. Looking at the bottom here, as we'll get a closer look, but the calves, the lower leg is white, and then the top of the leg is painted blue. It is not, you know, white paint over there, so it's not a problem. I do have a little paint blue paint splotch right there, not a big deal, a little bit rubbed off there, but it all looks pretty good. It's a pretty close match, so I'm not too concerned about that. Getting these arms, again, these are the same arms that we've seen with the two previous Mr. Fantastic figures, where you can kind of pop them out. Well, I guess the Super Scroll one, he didn't have interchangeable arms. Those ones did pop out though. So here we have our classic looking Mr. Fantastic, and I really like that. But then of course, if you don't want the stretched out fingers, you can just pop them off the hand and then get the lab coat arms, pop those hands off, and we can have a fully normal, regular Reed Richards. Man, his hands were kind of stiff to pull out of that arm. Here we have a perfectly normal Mr. Fantastic. Okay, so an up-close look at Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic. This is the same head sculpt as the Walgreens exclusive, but I do think this one looks a little bit better because the skin tone, I think, looks a little bit nicer than the previous one that we had gotten, which looks a little bit more pale. a little bit shinier, whereas we get a little bit more of a matte finish on this new one, which is nice. Looking at the gray hair, it's just different paint application techniques. So here it looks like it's like brushed on type paint, a lot of gray in there. Here it looks like the inkjet print type deal, which I think looks a little bit better when it comes to hair, because that brown kind of blends in with that gray a little bit and looks a little bit more like natural grayness in his hair going on. So I actually do really like that. It looks a little bit darker too. So there we go. You guys let me know down in the comments below, which one do you like more? They are the same, but slightly different in color. But I think it looks pretty good. The white around his collar, not bad. You could see some blue fading through in some areas, but it's not terrible. You know, I can't really complain. The logo, the 4 logo there, is applied nicely. Looking at his gloves, the lines on the forearms, not bad. They're nice and clean. The belt, same. It's a nice clean line. A little bit of blue showing through, not terrible. Looking at the calves, again, the blue is painted on the lower legs, not the white, so we get a white plastic, which is so much better. But just a little sloppiness there and there. Pretty minor, no big deal. But yes, this looks awesome because it is a very classic looking Mr. Fantastic, so I can really appreciate it, and I am really digging it. The regular arms, let's again pop those out. So you can see there. There, let's get this lab coat back on. You're just going to kind of slip it on. It looks pretty good. We get a pocket there, another pocket there, but it's sculpted nicely. Buttons down the center, nice wrinkles around the shoulders and everything. That all looks pretty good. Then let's go ahead and pop these in there. Pop that in there. And because he uses regular hands, we can even use the stretched out fingers for the lab coat look. And that can actually work out really well. So if Reed is in the lab and he's working on some kind of experiment, some kind of test, he's trying to build something, he may need to use his stretched out fingers to do that. So this is actually a really good look as well, not just with the fist and the open hands that the other arms have. So really nice look. I think again the jacket lays on him really nice. It's a very good size. As you can see, it's very form-fitting and slimming. It's not too bulky or anything, but that will hinder some of the articulation. It's a little bit pliable, but it does get in the way a little bit. So let's check out the articulation with the jacket on. Okay, so Reed can look down all the way with the jacket on. That's not really going to change anything. He can look up all the way, so that is really good. Get a full rotation in there, of course. You get some pivot, not a whole lot going on. The shoulders you can get to go straight out like so. Full wraparound, upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow like so. This looks like the same suited body arms as well. So double jointed elbow works out really well. Wrists swivel and they do hinge. They both have the horizontal hinge. If we look at like the other arm, let's just go pop that off. Well, I guess the arms would be the same. Let's keep the jacket on. Sorry, it wasn't my lack of preparedness coming through. But his ab crunch, so with the jacket, it's going to kind of go out, but you can function it. Going back is where it's really going to stop. Doesn't go back. Legs kind of get in the way of the jacket as well. So now let's take off the jacket and see how the rest of his movement is going to be when he's in his standard hero suit. So the ab crunch, so you can see he can crunch forward that much. He can go back a little bit, not a whole lot. There is the waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that high, which is really good. Leg doesn't really go back. Upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed knee like so. Really good bend at the knee. No calf swivel. Foot hinges all the way down. Get some hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So decent articulation. The ab is pretty lacking, especially for somebody that can stretch and his body is very pliable and you can get him into all kinds of weird positions and poses. It's a little disappointing that we can't get more movement out of the torso and that we don't get some crazy things that even old Hasbro had done before. So like that Ronin the Accuser Build-A-Figure wave, I think that's the one where they have that stretched out Mr. Fantastic in the torso. It would be really cool to get that. So maybe a future deluxe release, we can see all kinds of interchangeable parts, pull them off at the waist, have an elongated torso, get these same arms back in there with the bendy wire in there to use on with like a classic looking Mr. Fantastic. I would hate to get another Mr. Fantastic on top of that, but I think that can make for a very interesting and really cool deluxe release. But you guys let me know down in the comments below what you would think of that. But now let's see the Marvel's first family all together. Okay, and here is the Fantastic Four all together. I cannot wait to get the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Powered Down Johnny Storm so we can have them all in their matching uniforms. I think that is going to be fantastic. Again, no pun intended. Every time I say fantastic, I don't mean to say it with it being the Fantastic Four, but it is going to be awesome to have all four of them in their classic blue and white suits. I'm really excited for that. I believe Johnny Storm has been seen overseas, so I think Singapore got it. I'm sure Hong Kong did, maybe Malaysia, slowly making its way out into the US. Will it make it by Christmas? It's doubtful, may or may not. Who knows when that's going to be? I think Hasbro Pulse officially put a pre-order date release of like April or March of next year or something. A lot of those pre-orders are placeholder dates, and they plan to to curb expectations of like, oh, it's going to come this year, but then they don't know how bad some of the delays might be at the ports and whatnot, and then the global shipping delays and everything like that. So hopefully by the end of the year we do get that Johnny Storm, and then we get the Invisible Woman, because that'll be really cool to have the two powered versions of Human Torch and Invisible Woman. But Fantastic Four looking really nice together. And of course here is the entire retro vintage Fantastic Four wave. The Fantastic Four team, if you had the previous Walgreens exclusives, all four of those releases, or if you had the Super Scroll wave, you didn't necessarily need another Fantastic Four team, but the classic blue and white is definitely a bonus. And then the two new characters in High Evolutionary and Psycho Man, first time coming in the Marvel Legends line. Some nice additions. That Human Torch is really nice. So if anything, I'm thinking Human Torch, Psycho Man, and High Evolutionary are the must pick up figures of this wave. If you get the Thing, or if you get Mr. Fantastic or Sue Storm or any single one of those, then I think you got to get all three, because they're going to have the matching uniforms, whereas Thing won't really match up if you have the Super Scroll wave with the black and blue suits, or if you have the Walgreens with the black and blue or blue and black suits. So it just kind of doesn't make sense. Whereas Human Torch will work with all of them. High Evolutionary, Psycho Man, villains, they don't have to go with the classic schemes. But definitely a solid wave. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of the retro Fantastic Four wave. For me, I love it. The cards are amazing. I will have a second set to hang up on the wall. So I am very excited to finally get some of the second ones. I have a couple of them already hanging on the wall, so I need to finish it. I'll have a few more of them still coming, so I can have that second addition to the wall. But solid wave for sure, in my opinion. But again, you guys let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Okay, so here we have our three different Mr. Fantastic figures, and of course you could always swap out, because the arms pop off of each and every one of these. You could switch it up and you could put the lab coat on each different version, which I will actually do here in a second for you guys to be able to see. One thing that I will do though right off the bat, here on camera without pausing the video. Ooh, pop that head off. I was gonna say that thing did not want to come off. If you wanted to have this particular look with this suit, even though it wouldn't match, you had the bearded look, you could do that. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this jacket off of this figure, and then we're going to pop it onto the other Mr. Fantastic so you can see how he would look in a lab coat with these two different suits. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so starting off with the Walgreens exclusive, the hands have an extra long peg on the black gloved hands, so it doesn't want to peg in all the way, and I actually just can't get this one off of the right arm, so that's why he's there. And then this actually is extremely loose on there, so I don't know why that happens to be the case, but if you wanted to make it work, you could do it, maybe force that wrist peg down on there more than I am willing to do, but that could work, and it's actually not a bad look. Okay, so you could do this look for Mr. Fantastic, and again, this arm is really, really loose on this figure as well, so I don't know if they made adjustments into the vintage one to correct that, but yeah, it's really loose again there. But these hands pop on no problem, so there you have your Dan Larson look at Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. And Reed Richards back to normal, and it ratchets on this one, so it's only an issue with the other Mr. Fantastic figures that you would have, but back to the normal look. Okay, and that is the review of Mr. Fantastic. I think he's probably the better one out of the three because the lab coat does give it a very interesting look, and I appreciate that. I do like this head sculpt more than the previous Walgreens exclusive one, just the skin tone, color difference, and then the gray in the hair difference. Goes a long way having them in hand. It's not necessarily a must-have if you have the other two versions or one of the other two versions. It depends on which team of Fantastic Four you would like to get. If you want the classic blue and white version, you know, he's a must pick up. Definitely pretty cool. The long elongated hands with the bendy wire in them, that would be ideal to get with every Mr. Fantastic figure, but we didn't get it on the previous one. We didn't get that one here. So that Walgreens one, that exclusive one, is still pretty special to me. But this one is a nice touch. Again, the lab coat, I actually really enjoy, and it's a solid Mr. Fantastic figure for sure. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this Reed Richards figure? Do you like, which one do you like the most? The Walgreens exclusive, the Super Scroll wave, or this new vintage retro wave? I'm leaning more towards this one, and I'm excited that the team is fully complete. Just need that powered down Johnny Storm to complete the look, the matching look of the team, and I'm very excited for that. But anyway, that's my review. You guys let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.